Alrighty, let's watch this in full first. Alright, I love it. It's so good. Yeah, it's already so great. My nitpicky notes would be just because I can't love this more. It has just everything I love. It's so good. I'm all for giving character more space in terms of that's where they're looking, that's where they're headed. Let's give them more space and be comfortable. I think you would be okay having her start here. When she's doing this, like she's here, like let her gain a bit, and then she can fall back a bit by the time she does this, because it's almost like that is she's running, and that's her. She's getting faster and faster, and then right to that. That to me is almost, let's start here and end there with this, and you can, by this I mean this, and you can even start with her like that, and as she keeps going, even though she has that big thing here, she can still end up right before, slightly lean forward, arms slightly further back. That's my awesome drawing. Just get it feels a bit on the repeat, so you can go here and imagine she's leaning forward, just a bit bigger, you know, where you're less together but more like that. Like you start like this, but you end up with bigger poses, and then she gets into that, and then because she does this, I feel like when you're running and you start looking somewhere else and you concentrated on this, now there's less swing with the arms, so she has to do this. That's when she will get slower, and then she will fall back to this position here into that, like, and that's great too. I love that she is here, and with that lunge gets a bit more screen left. Love that moment there in that pose. And then with that jump, she falls back, and then she has to regain into this. Again, I don't want to take away from this moment in terms of how far she leans forward and has these poses. So I like that there's a contrast, but I think just take like 10%, 15% of that into this, so it's a slight progression, so this doesn't feel like a repeat until here. I know I'm being super picky over like what 20 frames, but it could be interesting. Love how that little dragon bounces up to hold off, goes back down, ends up being there. The thing about when I was watching this for the first time, my main impressions, there were two things, and I should have led with that, but like since she's there first, I just want to start with that. And we get to this, and I feel like they're clearly on the same plane, right? For front view, she's here and dragon's here. And then now she's here, and the dragon front view, again, is way over there. And I wasn't quite buying this little guy going over there and then into this. It suddenly felt like, whoa, how fast did that little guy go to get over there? Was there something about his size not really changing too much between here and here? It's not huge, but it feels like once we're here, and I know this effect continues to travel over there, but now it feels like that's a huge dragon, and they must be really far away from her. So basically what I'm slowly saying is that if there's anything you can do, and even if that means that, I mean, what is this guy doing? He can still magically jump and move over. Even if you see, maybe there's a mix between this and that, where we can see this, it just has a silhouette halo that's orange, and that's the magic that makes it fly without wings. And you get a view of this black silhouette getting like this tiny, if that makes sense. So you can really understand the distance of, this is how far that little guy went while glowing a bit more, and then this happens. That is my way too picky. This is just me. I was watching this. This is all cool. I love all this, love all that. Like, whoa, wait, what? Went from here. This felt like it's on her right shoulder, and then suddenly it's over there. It's not huge to me. It's not like a shot breaker. I'm sure it'll be just fine, but I wanted to throw that out there as a first impression for this, and maybe you have a cool way of making that work. But again, it's not like you watch this and then you go, hold on, and then you completely stop the shot. It's just a bit of a nose wrinkle, but not huge. But I love that. Getting into this. Actually, I just opened that rig yesterday. Lots of cool stuff in there. Love all this. You get to see the flaps. She takes over. We turn into that. That's all cool. There's really nothing else. That's a cool pose. I just be careful in terms of that expression. I think we talked about that before. You know, kind of the worry, bit of a worry look, and then that is almost too serene. Like this could be top view and she's sleeping. It's kind of how I sleep sideways, my leg over. But you know, she's got a pillow here. There's something about this that I'm not quite connecting. Not connecting, but it just seems like a sudden change from all of this and that and her leaning forward and all that going into that. It just feels like she's so sad and half asleep, half dead. And then we're back to this. There's something where I would find in this expression something that connects this and this a bit more. I mean, it could even be this and just a frown, maybe. That's all cool. I love all this. This really reads well. I prefer that a lot more than what you had before. We still get to see it sideways in a cool pose. Comes into this. And then the second thing is again tiny. I'm not sure you want to go that high without tilt and pan with a slight adjustment. I know we're kind of calming down the camera, loosening it up a little bit, which is cool. I just wonder if we need to be this high and this far. We're really edgy here. Now, I also have this here, so if I bring in the full frame, I think personally we could do something where even on this, that slowdown and that is less like this, but more here. Because I feel like with the flaps, not quite buying the lift just yet. I know the character's flapping, but with that, I feel like if the wings would be out flat, then you would get a more believable, well, I'm just gliding up there. But there's something about the flaps in here in terms of the path, whereby now I feel like that dragon will be here. But in that way, you will go and you would end up here. I think this would be a nice position. So your dragon is actually here, and then the exit is here. You still get to do what you have here. That's all cool. And I like that. That definitely helps to sell that immediate acceleration. But yeah, it's just more of a framing thing. Now, once you spline this out, we'll see how it will really feel with her going up and down. You might have to start adding a little bit more stuff to it, to that little guy holding on and bobbing up and down. Definitely love this. I would just take this idea and keep going, even if it's like a little adjustment, a little tail bounce up and down. That's all cute. That's all great. Definitely read it. It's a good color contrast. The only thing here is maybe I will keep this a bit more level. There's something where I feel like with that look up in that angle, by now it would almost be a bit higher. It feels like it's that angle, but it's still traveling fairly straight. And given that it's coming down here, I think it's, I don't know if we need to somehow, because to me it's also, it starts here, it does this, and it would be nice to then do that, and almost this, and not stay in this up. It's almost like it has a lot of difficulty of rising up despite trying and being pointed that way. I think by now we can be okay. Bring even that head almost a bit down. That's kind of that. I think that's kind of that. Love the set. Camera's great. Love all this, how that set piece, all that starts to kind of, and then reveals this, and because it's so far away, it kind of stays put. It's just in terms of scope in the landscape, it's great. Even stuff like that in terms of just how it's built. I love all this. So cool. Yeah. It's all very cool. You might even experiment with something where instead of, I know there's energy and all that stuff going on, but instead of like that, a little bit of a, where it's that energy starts and starts and starts and then really kicks in here. To have just a bit more of a flow, a bit of a timing change where right now that feels fairly even. So kind of just playing around a little bit in the and really starting to accelerate towards the end, and then I mean you could even potentially go crazy. I wouldn't say do it, but as it goes like this, a little bit of a roll. So then it would be belly up and the belly down. It's like a little extra flourish. Just thinking out loud, something interesting. It might be too much. It might just be, all right, that's really showing off. But it could be something where it's tied in with the effects. So as it does that path, there could be then effects that kind of twirl and, and stuff like that. I don't know how far you want to go with that kind of look. And then, expanding that psych there. Watch out for your seams. But that's kind of that. It's really, really, really cool. I'm such a fan of this. I love it. And that's it. Thanks.
All right. There's an email. You can sign up. You can start whenever you want. You can submit whenever you want. You get 16 submissions. Either way, a like and subscribe would be awesome. All right. Thank you.